Awesome.
Well, welcome everyone. We appreciate you joining us today, and we're excited again to go back through the SHARE, what we call the SHARE program, the SHA and Sedera program, combined together on the employer side. And then we also have an individual solution to walk you through as well. Some of you may have seen the employer slides before. This is updated today with an additional IUA option for you. I have Julie Silverman joining me today. She's the regional sales manager for Sedera. Julie, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, Corey.
Yeah, why don't we start with the Sedera slides and the program and how it works on your end to kind of remind our broker distribution how that works, and then we'll fill in the gaps with the SHA piece and show the rates with the various IUA options at the end. So go right ahead and dive in so we are efficient with our time.
Great. So everyone may or may not have heard of Sedera. We are a medical cost sharing community. This product, Sedera Select, for groups. So employers looking for a better option to offer their employees. Just an overview, we see big savings over health insurance. Usually we can save the employer anywhere from 30 to 55% on the monthly costs associated with healthcare. We like to think of it as healthcare through community rather than healthcare through insurance. And this isn't a new idea. This concept has been around for a very long time. Industry-wide, there's over $1 billion being shared in this country and over 1 million members. The Christian ministries have been doing this a long time. MediShare, Samaritan, Liberty, and now Sedera is an option that's open to everybody, regardless of faith. Our members really like that there's freedom from networks. As a Sedera member, you are a cash pay patient for injury or illness. So you can see any doctor that you want. If your doctor takes Visa or MasterCard, they'll work with you and they'll work with us. And ultimately what we're doing with Sedera is promoting a healthy lifestyle. We believe that the first step in reducing your healthcare costs is to take care of yourself. So in the Sedera world, we look at everything in terms of a need. And so let's talk about what a need is and how it works. So a need is one or more medical expenses caused by a single accident or illness. You'll have your initial unshareable amount. We call it an IUA for short. And that's what the member pays before sharing begins for the need. Needs over that amount, and you can choose that amount when you join. You can choose the $500 IUA, the $1,000 IUA, and now the $1,500 IUA. Needs that are over that amount are fully shareable with the community. And so let's talk about what that means, and I'll use myself as an example. In this example, I have the $500 IUA. So I'm at home, I'm on a ladder, I'm cleaning my gutters, and I fall down. I fall off the ladder, I break my leg, I have to take an ambulance ride to the hospital, I need x-rays once I'm there, crutches, and physical therapy to heal from the accident. So this is all considered one need because it's all relating to the time I fell off the ladder. So when I get to the hospital, the doctor's going to say, well, Julie, do you have insurance today? And my response would be, for this visit, I'm self-pay. I'm a cash pay patient. You can take up to $500 from my Visa card. Please send me the bills for the rest. It's my responsibility to collect my bills as they come in, upload them using the Sedera app, or I can email them over to Sedera, whichever is easiest for me. It's possible those bills will get sent to our parent company, the Caris Group, to be negotiated down on my behalf. Sedera will facilitate the sharing amongst the entire community, send me a check, and I will pay back the provider. So again, I'm a self-pay patient. I pay cash at the hospital, get my bills to Sedera. Sedera sends me a check, and I pay back the provider. And then lastly, Sedera wants to limit your out-of-pocket costs. So if you're an employee only with Sedera, the most number of needs you would pay in the membership year is 3. And if you have any dependents on your membership, the most number of needs you would pay is 5. And so what we're saying is, if you're a family of 5 and you've dealt with 5 separate incidents, you're having a tough year, just send us your bills after that. We will share them at first dollar. So I'll give you another real life example here. This is our CEO, Jamie Lagarde's example. He's got 3 little boys at home. His youngest son, Brooks, was having persistent ear infections. It required several doctor visits, booster injections. Eventually, he had to go to a specialist to have tubes surgically inserted into his ears. At the time, their family deductible on their insurance plan was $5,000. So let's take a look at what Jamie paid to have those tubes inserted with his insurance and look at what that would look like with medical cost sharing as a Sedera member. So you'll see on the left-hand side the several co-pays, prescription drugs. They tried in-office injections, eventually surgery, the facility costs, and anesthesiology, roughly $2,500 out of pocket. Now, had he been a Sedera member at the time, he may have paid his first couple of office visits cash, and then at the end, when it was time for surgery, he would have paid his IUA of $500. The rest would have been shared with the community. Now, this happened in the fall. The following spring, the tubes fell out of little Brooks's ears and had to repeat this whole process all over again. And as we all know, deductibles reset at the end of the calendar year, so Jamie was looking at another $2,500 out of pocket. Now, had he been a Sedera member when the tubes fell out and had to be reinserted, he would not have had to pay another IUA. Little Brooks would have had to go 12 months or a full year with no treatment and no symptoms for it to be considered a new need. So when the tubes fell out and had to be reinserted, he had already paid his IUA. He would have submitted those bills for sharing right away. So we'll talk about what it takes to become a Sedera member, how we handle medications and pre-existing conditions. So we talked a little bit about choosing to live a healthy lifestyle. And really what it comes down to is when like-minded people come together and we all are striving to live a healthy lifestyle, make smart choices, including diet and exercise, everyone wins. We're all able to lower the cost of healthcare together. Our members commit that they will not use illegal narcotics. They're also committing that they will not operate a vehicle while intoxicated. Anyone that is involved in an accident and they're found to be over the legal limit, anything that their car insurance doesn't cover, Sedera will not share with the community. Tobacco users are welcome to join, but they will see a $75 surcharge per month. And I am just going to read that footnote at the bottom of the page. Tobacco users over the age of 50 have a $25,000 per need sharing limit for the top 4 disease states associated with tobacco usage. So heart disease, stroke, COPD, and cancer. So pre-existing conditions, on the top half of this slide, these are the more common conditions that when well controlled, maybe you're taking a maintenance medication that your doctor prescribed, or you're dieting and exercising properly. There are no sharing restrictions when you join the Sedera community. So high blood pressure, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, and non-insulin dependent diabetes. Everything else we consider to be pre-existing if a member had symptoms or treatment in the 3 years before joining the community. So if everyone were going to join January 1st, there would be a 3-year look-back period. Anything that you've had symptoms or treatment for, the following sharing rules would apply. In year 1, there would be no sharing for that specific condition. Year 2, we would share up to $25,000 for that condition. Year 3, up to $50,000 for that specific condition. And the 4th year, it would be fully shareable with the community. So lastly, I'm just going to point out some of our member services that all Sedera members get access to when they join the community. All of our members will get access to Second MD. Second MD is a network of the nation's top doctors at centers of excellence, places like Johns Hopkins, MD Anderson, the Mayo Clinic. They're there to provide a written second opinion. Second MD did a study finding that over 30% of surgeries are unnecessary. There may be a better treatment plan out there than surgery. So all of our members get access to Second MD. If you're having any type of non-life-threatening surgery, meaning you can schedule it out, 2 or 3 weeks in advance, we require that you reach out to Second MD. Just by doing that, just by getting the second opinion, we will reduce your IUA by $250. Now, whether you choose to go with the second opinion or not, you'll still have your IUA reduced to $250, and the treatment plan will still be shareable with the community. We ultimately want you to get that expert second opinion. All of our members get access to counseling support. It's all over the phone, 3 hours of professional support for each member. And everyone will have access to a personal member advisor that's in-house here at Sedera. A lot of folks, this is going to be brand new for them. They've never been a cash pay patient for injury or illness. And maybe they're just not sure what to say when they go in for their appointment. Or maybe they have questions about finding a local surgeon to specialize in something that they need to have done. So whatever the questions they have, whatever it may be, there's a team of member advisors here to answer any of our members' questions and to help them best navigate the self-pay model for healthcare. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Corey to discuss some of the key points to the SHA program.
Yeah, thanks, Julie. It's just fantastic to be working with Sedera. Our brokers have experienced some of the frustration that comes along with referring clients into some of the other health share programs and the limited access and availability and connectivity with the health share. So having a partner like Sedera where the brokers can be acutely involved in the relationship with their clients and act as that liaison with the health share entity, I think it really takes the program to the next level for our brokers. And one of the things that was a challenge is the fact that the other faith-based health shares are geared toward people of a particular faith, or sometimes there's a hesitancy to answer some of the do I believe in God questions that happen with those health share entities. So the first bullet point is that we're combining a non-faith-based health share with the SHA+Med plans is a really relevant point, especially in a world where we're going into the employer space. And now you're not going to get the pushback from an employer about discriminatory practices or any concern about that, even though that really wasn't legitimate in a voluntary health share world. We will remove that as an obstacle. So non-faith-based solution like health share, like Sedera, so it is inclusive. Really big point for going into your employer groups with a much lower cost option. The employees still have access to first dollar access through the SHA plans, and then of course the catastrophic reimbursement through the Sedera membership to the community sharing. We're doing the consolidated billing through Shared Health Alliance, so we make it easy for the employer and the employees to join and be a part of both programs. And then our third-party administrator is doing a warm transfer for the employees that do need catastrophic medical reimbursement, or where the particular issue or item that their medical care that they're needing help with does not fall under the SHA portion of the benefits. So most of our broker distribution are familiar with the SHA+Med programs. We've got a combination here of the two different offerings between the SHA Premier and the SHA Preventive plans. Both of those plans qualify as MEC plans. The preventive plan is essentially a very basic MEC plan. However, we do include our RX program in both of those and the telemedicine feature as well. So even if they just enrolled in the preventive program, they've got the zero copay telemedicine, and then they have access to their prescription drugs through the drug card and all the high-cost maintenance and specialty meds through the SHARPS program, which many of you have customers and clients that are taking high-cost medications like Remicade or Revlimid or Harvoni or Humira and getting those drugs at no cost. And then, of course, the diabetic meds, the Victozas, Humalogs, the high-cost tier 1 drugs, we're getting those through SHARPS as well at little to no cost for your members. So the buy-up plan, the Premier plan, includes the RX program as well as the copays for the various procedures. So along with that, Sedera recognizes that when we have the copays in the program, we actually see a decrease in the rate offerings for the various IUA options for Sedera. So the prices that we're going to show you do reflect that and certainly gives a lot of first dollar benefit. So both of those two programs are available. The individuals meet the MEC requirement. I know in 2019, the individual MEC requirement seems to go away, at least for 2019. And there's still a lot of question about what's happening on the employer side. So now you've protected that employer. They're offering a MEC option, which does meet the mandate requirement, if in fact that's still that burden is still on the employer. So a little bit more about the SHARPS program. Don't need to go into a lot of detail here, as I think most of our distribution is well familiar with it. But again, high cost maintenance, high cost specialty meds, typically getting those drugs to our members at no cost, really strengthens an area that the health share communities are not ready or necessarily willing to absorb on a long-term basis, those maintenance medications. So it gives you a great solution to go along with the Sedera program. So we've got 3 different IUAs. Individual unshared amount is what Sedera uses as the terminology to express the member responsibility amount. And what you're seeing here is the $500 IUA. And you've got 2 different options. So on the left side of this page, you see the preventive program combined with the Sedera 500 IUA. And on the right side, the 2 boxes on the right, you see the Premier plan combined with the Sedera 500 IUA. And the prices listed below include the MEC plans and the Sedera rates. So you'll have a copy of this sent to you if you don't already have it. We can take a peek at the 1,000 IUA options. So you go from $357 down to $270. And then on the 1,000 IUA, we go $306 for a single. On the preventive only plus the 1,000 option, $336 for the employee only on the Premier. And then you get down to $270 for 1,000 on the preventive only and $306 under 30. So the age bands are over 30, under 30 with Sedera on the group side. So just kind of 2 sets of rates, if you will. And then the third program option is a 1,500 IUA. Again, if you don't already have a brochure, shoot us an email, send us a reminder, and we can make sure you have it in your hands if you don't know how to pull it from the broker portal as well. So there's the 1,500. You can get all the way down to a $255 single rate, and then even $288 for under 30. So including the Premier plan. So again, very, very competitive rates. And the way you can get an employer to fund those various components, you've got some options there with the SHA plans being the MEC plan option, the Sedera option. Julie, maybe you could speak to briefly the deductibility for the employer on the contribution on the Sedera side of that. How does that work, if you don't mind?
Yeah, so traditionally speaking, for most employers, they're used to an insurance product where everything is pre-tax. Medical cost sharing dollars have to be post-tax. So, if you have employers you're working with that would like a breakdown, I can provide you how we handle internally here at Sedera pre and post tax dollars, but ultimately, the portion of our monthly rates that go towards member services like Second MD and that go towards the MEC plan, SHA, those dollars can be pre-tax. The medical cost sharing dollars would go post. So let me know if you have questions there. Happy to provide you a worksheet that outlines that in more detail.
Julie, if the employer funds the Sedera portion or pays for the employer the Sedera cost, can the employer deduct that, or would that still be post-tax to the employer as well?
That's a good question. I believe it would still be, it's still going to be post-tax, but that's something that we can speak with on a case-by-case basis. And I've got a worksheet that will help break that down.
Fair enough. So basically, you know that the SHA plans can certainly be pre-taxed or run through the 125 plan, so it reduces the tax liability to the employer and the employee if that's the scenario, and then the Sedera portion would be the remaining. Still, the combined price significantly less than major medical, and one of the ways, certainly for those groups that are under 50 employee lives, is to use the HRA model or a model where you're offering a SHA plan as a MEC doesn't qualify as a minimum value plan. So if an employee chose not to enroll in the SHA+Sedera program because either they had a pre-existing condition limitation or they just didn't want to use health share as their primary form of getting medical reimbursement, they are not excluded from the marketplace if in fact they're eligible for a subsidy, because the SHA+Sedera program isn't a minimum value plan, it's a MEC plan. So that it really creates a scenario for that small group employer where all of the options that are out there can still be in play. It's a really nice way to bring a solution to the employer, to the employees, and still keep them give them the possibility of using exchange and a subsidy if in fact, for whatever reason, the health share through Sedera and SHA don't work. So really, most of you have seen this before. The addition of the 1500 IUA is now available to get an even lower price point. We appreciate your patience as we've put this together. We're looking forward to walking you through, or if you haven't already seen the individual option that we now have with Sedera, it should really add a tremendous element for you to go out and be ready to serve your clients and your prospects as we move toward the fourth quarter here. Julie, did you have anything else to add before we break away?
No, I think you covered it perfectly. And if there's any questions that anybody has, feel free to reach out to myself. I know that you've likely been working with Corey for a long time, and we're happy to pair these solutions together to make a really nice overall package for employer groups moving into 2019.
And if you're not already contracted with Sedera, certainly shoot us a note, send us an email. You can certainly send an email directly to Julie and she'll get you contracting, or send it to us. And